So ladies and gentlemen, now it's my great honor to welcome on the stage a representative from our Sui. Sui is now accompanying to share a lot of information regarding building Web3. So now let's give it up to welcome on the stage Mr. Kim.
Okay, good afternoon, everyone. Hello, my name is Kim. I'm the head of marketing for Sui. Question for the audience: how many have heard of Sui? Hands? All right, quite a few of you. So let me start with this slide. This is not the new slides, but I can share, go through it. Earlier, Christian Thompson's supposed to be here. He's our managing director of Sui Foundation, but unfortunately he couldn't make it. But I am attending on his behalf. I think there's some slides here missing, but let me share kind of high level and across what I'm sharing. Really quickly, let me start with why Sui. Earlier, there was a panel on a question, are there too many layer 2 blockchains? And I think you can ask the same question about layer 1s. Now, why Sui? Let me start with a little bit about my career. So I spent 20 years of my background building the internet. I had worked at Google, Facebook, YouTube, WhatsApp, and Twitter. So I've actually covered most of the Silicon Valley Tech 1 companies. Over those 20 years, there's 3 reasons why I think building the internet was a good part of my career. One, first and foremost, I believed in a frictionless future. As an immigrant to the US, if you think about today, we take for granted the fact that we can communicate, send photos and videos to anybody, that we can use our mobile phones to navigate and travel to anywhere in the world, using digital maps. Second, I believe in the new digital economy. When I was growing up and going to college, there were very few industries that you can really enter, and many of them already were very well established. So the internet provided a whole new digital economy. And then third, I will say that for me, what was really important was building the internet in a way that every contributor gains access and really benefits. So everyone that contributes to the internet is able to benefit. I'm gonna pause here for a second and see if they can actually update the slides or not. Really quickly. Can we update the latest slides? If not, I'm just gonna continue. Give it 1 minute, because these are the wrong slides. Okay, then we will just continue with these slides. It's all good, okay. So really quickly, one of the slides I had showed one of the challenges of the internet today. I think one of the questions we can all agree is that, does everyone equally benefit by contributing to the internet? And the answer is no. So when we look at today, there's a lot of gatekeepers, there's a lot of closed walls. If you are a creator today, how many of you guys create or like an influencer, create content, any sort of assets online? The digital economy is huge, right? Many people, I see hands up here, is growing. Most platforms take 50%, nearly 45% of the wealth and value created for those things are taken by the platform. Hence, the internet is quite limited today, and hence, we want to build and rebuild the internet. Now, I'm going to pause here because I can go through these slides, but I just want to make sure if we have the new slides yet. Give me a thumbs up if we don't have the slides. That's okay. I'll just continue. But if we can bring up the new slides, that would be great. Sorry, folks. I appreciate your patience. We're just waiting because it looks like they're working to put up the slides. And either I just need a thumbs up. If we're not going to bring it up, I'm just going to continue and finish these slides. Or if there's new ones, we can bring those up. Okay. We just have a slight delay. They are updating the slides. So if we can give it a minute, that would be much appreciated. All right, let me start over. And I think it gave me time for some new folks to come in. So let me start over here. My name is Kim. I'm the head of marketing for Sui. Thank you for getting my slides up rather than Christian Thompson's slides. Really appreciate it. Okay, I started by saying my background. I spent the last 20 years building the internet. Most of my career is in traditional, what we call now Web2 internet companies. These are all Silicon Valley companies, and I worked at Google, Facebook, WhatsApp, I've launched YouTube across Southeast Asian markets, and I worked at Twitter. So I've covered them all prior to my Web3 and crypto journey. Now, one of the reasons I started in Web3 was because to build this new digital economy, right? The promise of the internet was that people, all of you, all of us would contribute to the open web and we would all benefit. The global economy for the digital economy has massively grown. It makes now 15% of global GDP, over $100 trillion. That is accelerated even more here in Vietnam. The digital economy here is not only bigger than the average over the globe, but the growth rate is also exceeding and accelerating at a fast pace. Now, with that said, the internet as we know today has a lot of challenges, and there are some hidden costs. For example, data. Digital advertising globally requires the use of data, and all that data is the stuff that we contribute to the internet. That's a $600 billion global business alone. The average American's daily use of the internet probably is about generating over $200 per year. Where does that go? That goes to a lot of centralized systems. If you think about AI and where AI is going today, a lot of that is around data, right? And the use of that data and who owns it. Now, there are other hidden costs. Single point of failure. When systems go down, imagine if Slack, or WhatsApp, or other platforms went down. The loss of communications, the loss of productivity. Switching costs is extremely high in a centralized system, right? So if you have iOS or Apple, or if you use Android, you're locked in because the move of one platform to another is exceedingly high, maybe not monetarily, but maybe even prohibitive because the data, the information, the content that you hold and purchase is locked in. I talked about earlier about unfair monetization. There were some hands raised here of people being creators and influencers, people who contribute on social media. At the same time, platforms generally take a huge amount. And when I was working at YouTube, one of the big things we wanted was to have creators create content. But how much does YouTube take from those content creators? 30 to 45%, right? So essentially the platforms allows people to go and contribute openly, but they take most of the advantage in the economy. And of course, limited ownership. If you think about all the different areas, not just AI, but in gaming, and you create and generate your own assets, at the same time, not only do you not have control and true ownership of those, but that's again locked in. This is where the benefits of blockchain and Web3 comes in. At Sui, we're completely mission-driven that we believe that we want to solve real-world problems and drive mass adoption. And Sui is not just another layer one. For those who are familiar with Sui, it actually came from Meta, Facebook. The original contributors, the 5 founders or co-founders at Miston Labs are all from Facebook, from the Diem Libra project. And based on the Move programming language, it's been built ground up to really scale. Because end of the day, for blockchain to hit mainstream, it's got to do 3 things. 1, it's got to be fast. 2, it's got to scale. And 3, it's got to be cost effective. And Sui has been only around for about 2 years. We're celebrating slightly over 2 years of mainnet anniversary. So it's one of the youngest or newer blockchain. However, it's because of its performance and it's being one of the most advanced blockchains out there, has adopted very quickly. Let me show some stats and numbers to show some evidence of that. Sui's TVL today is 2 billion, making it one of the top 8 chains. In the last 30 days, the DEX volume on Sui exceeds 12.9 billion. And stablecoin growth has been steadily growing. This year alone at 180%. In the future, products and features that are coming along to really build community. But you may or may not have heard of these other launches. Walrus Protocol recently launched. It's a new data storage programmable layer. The Nautilus, which also launched. Again, you can compute very hard tasks off-chain and be trusted on-chain. And then Seal, which launches very soon, next month, which again is about management, access of data, and control. Put all those together, and you have a full stack to really rebuild any application that you can do on Web 2 across Web 3. And it's a combination of these things that makes Sui very, very powerful. And because of that, we don't just have TVL growth. and we have growth across many projects and builders that are developing and building on Sui. We also have institutional support. We've had both Grayscale and Franklin Templeton, VanEck really support Sui. In addition, we have 21 shares launching ETF, or at least applying for an ETF, to which now NASDAQ is working to approve that in the process. We've had many growth across gaming sectors, DeFi, NFTs, and recently BTC lending as well. So we have many areas that, verticals that Sui has been growing and developing. And as I mentioned, stablecoin continues to grow and develop on the Sui network. And we've had a lot of momentum across key verticals. This is just one, a snapshot of the gaming vertical. Gaming vertical has been huge for us, and so we've had a lot of projects, studios, independent studios come and build on Sui. We're excited about many of these. Society is a game that came out of Korea natively from a very homegrown independent studio that launched their game, and we're very excited to see that. There's been other commerce-related gaming partners as well that we're very excited about. And we recently actually showcased a hardware device, again, experimental, but a gaming device called Sui Play OX1, which announced last year at Sui Basecamp, and we actually sold out all 10,000 by this year at Sui Basecamp, which took place earlier this year. So again, this is powered by Playtron, which provides the OS and operating system, partnership with Sui to create a hardware device to really showcase what's possible when you bring the full stack. With that said, again, we're very excited to be here in Vietnam. This is our second year sponsoring and partnering GM Vietnam. Prior to this, I was in Ho Chi Minh. It was the energy and vibe here in Vietnam is amazing. We're glad to be here in Hanoi. We have an amazing booth out in the front. If you haven't had a chance, please stop by and see us. If you have questions about building on Sui or any of the products and features, we're there. We've got the whole Sui team globally across multiple functions, from ecosystem team, the developer team, the marketing team. We're all here, not just our local teams from Vietnam, but from all over the world, and we're very much excited to see you. So with that said, I apologize for that rough start earlier. Thank you for being patient with us, and we'll see you soon. Thank you for joining us, and we'll see you at the Sui booth.
Thank you, Mr. Gap Kim, for your insightful sharings. Thank you very much.